I can't believe I'm saying this, but welcome to season 15 of the Parenting Aces podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Stone, and as you may hear in my voice, my family's been knocked out with all this respiratory garbage going around over the holidays. And I have, knock on wood, been spared the brunt of it, but have a little bit of lingering junk going on. So I apologize for that. But I am so excited that we are launching our 15th season of this podcast. I've been recording over the break. I have tons of great guests, great topics ready for y'all for the upcoming year. And we are going to be addressing so many different parts of the junior tennis journey, including and really focusing mostly this season on the joys of being a tennis parent and why you guys as parents need to embrace this journey and understand the gifts that your child is giving to you by virtue of pursuing greatness in this sport. So I am super excited to delve into that topic over the course of the next several months. We have guests ranging from coaches, from parents, from players, from educators, from medical professionals to psychologists. I mean, the whole gamut. So if there are any topics or any guests that you're interested in hearing about or hearing from, please, please, please reach out to me. I am always open to suggestions. This podcast is for you, so I want to make it as useful to you as I possibly can. And that means answering the questions and addressing the issues that you're facing in your own journey, whether you're a parent yourself, whether you're a coach, a parent coach, whether you're a player, either currently or you've played the game and want to offer yourself and your experience to give back through this podcast. I would love to hear from you. And we've just got so much going on. If you have been following along in our Facebook group or on other social media, there's been a lot of conversation lately about the whole process, this whole journey of developing a junior tennis player from beginner to wherever that journey leads, whether it's to playing tournaments, being a high school player, a college player, going on to a professional career as a tennis player, moving into coaching or some other arena, or just developing a game that can be played socially for the rest of your life. And I think there's been a lot going on in terms of thinking about the process and what this looks like and what the structure of this journey needs to look like in order to set our kids and really our entire families up to have success through the journey. So we're going to be delving into that a bit over the course of this season. I know that you guys have a lot of thoughts on this. You've been very generous in sharing those thoughts either directly with me or through our conversations online. And I want to really dig into that, the meat of that this year. But I do want to share with you just a little bit, for those of you who are new to the podcast, a little bit of my journey and what is the impetus behind Parenting Aces. And those of you who have been around a while, you've heard this story, so I apologize. But for those of you new to our platform, I am the mom of 3 kids. I have 2 daughters and a son. All 3 of my kids played tennis, had the opportunity to learn to play tennis as young children, in addition to lots of other things, other sports, music, the arts, things like that. And only my youngest, my son, really glommed onto tennis and developed a passion for the game and showed an interest in really, investing his time and energy into getting as good as he could be. And realized around age 9 that really what he wanted was to play college tennis. And that was as a result of going to a summer camp at the University of Georgia, where the head coach, assistant coaches, and the players on the Georgia tennis team acted as coaches for the kids at the camp. My son came home from that experience just lit up. He was so excited and just wanted to get on the court as much as possible, get as good as he could be so that he would have the opportunity one day to play in college. And so over the course of the next 9, 10 years or so, my husband and I were doing everything we knew to do, which, let's face it, I grew up playing tennis, but tennis has changed. Junior development has changed. And certainly since I was a kid back in the 60s and 70s. So we did the best we could. We sought advice from parents that had kids playing the sport at a high level. We looked for the best coaches that were available to us. We were in the Atlanta area, and luckily that's kind of a tennis mecca. So there were some amazing coaches available and lots of other kids his age that he could train with and play with. There were tons of tournaments available once he was ready to start going down that route. But as we started progressing, I realized that there was no place as a parent for me to go and get guidance on what I should be doing in terms of coaching, competition, off court training, to help my son reach this goal of playing college tennis. I would talk to his coach and I would get a little bit of information here and there. I would talk to other parents and get conflicting information. Everybody has a different set of advice to give you. I reached out to our national governing body and wasn't offered very much support there. And so after a few years of headbutting, butting my head against the wall, I should say, I took to Facebook and happened on a group of former junior players who got together and discussed different aspects of tennis. And I started posting questions in the group. And I started getting some really good information. One of the people that was answering my questions and offering me advice there said, Lisa, if you have all these questions, there are probably many, many other tennis parents out there who have the same questions and who could benefit from you taking all of this information that you're gathering and sticking it up on a website. So that's what I did. And that's when Parenting Aces was born. It started as a way for me to document my journey with my son. So if you go back on our website and go back to the very beginning, which was November of 2011, you will see articles that I wrote about different aspects of what my son and I were doing and what my husband and I were doing as a family to help our son reach this goal of playing college tennis. So I write about our tournament experiences. I write about, frustrations of being stuck on the alternate list week in and week out. We talk about, controlling temper and my reactions to things and things that I was trying to learn how to do to be more effective as the kind of guide for my son through this process. There are just loads and loads of articles on the website. And several months into starting this website, I got approached to host what was then called a radio show. It was an online call-in platform where I was the host and people could call in with questions or topics for conversation. And we would just basically dialogue back and forth for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour about whatever the topic was for that particular episode. That online radio show morphed into what is now the Parenting Aces podcast. So our season 1 was 2012. We are, like I said, now in season 15. Crazy to think, but over the years, I have had the opportunity to talk to some really generous and knowledgeable people who were happy to share their experience, their knowledge, their wisdom with the Parenting Aces community so that we can all learn from one another and make this an overall better experience, not just for our children, but for ourselves and for our families as a whole. It's been an incredible journey. I honestly thought that once my son went off to college, that would be the end of Parenting Aces. I was certainly ready to take a break at that point and actually put feelers out in 2015 to see if anybody was interested in taking this over and continuing on with the project of bringing tennis parents together with experts to help guide this whole process. Sadly, I did not get any takers. Well, not sadly, because I'm happy to still be doing this. But yeah, so as it turned out, my son did go on to play college tennis. He had a really rough freshman year. As in hindsight, we now realize that he probably did not make the best choice of programs to attend his freshman year. And as a result, I ended up really angry with the sport. I was very frustrated. I was frustrated with him. I was frustrated with his college coach. I was frustrated with the governing bodies, including the Intercollegiate Tennis Association, where I felt I should have been able to go and get some guidance on how to help my son manage being in the wrong situation for college tennis. But was told that no, that's not what they do. And the university itself was really no help. So I kind of backed away from Parenting Aces a little bit. I continued to write and I continued to do podcasts, but they were more peripheral, not really about the meat of what was going on because I wasn't ready yet to really fully discuss what we were experiencing and going through at that time. Luckily, things turned around. And after the end of his freshman year, my son wound up transferring to another school, had a great sophomore year, but partway in, realized that he really needed to be done with tennis. He wanted to step away from the court. He wanted to finish college, but not as a tennis player, just as a regular student. And we were okay with it at that point. It was a little heart wrenching at the beginning, I'm not going to lie. But after talking with him and really understanding what had gone on the previous year and what was going on currently with him at that stage of things, it became very clear that that was the right choice for him. And so my response to that was to attend every single college match that I could his sophomore year, really just soak it all in and enjoy being there and enjoy watching my kid do this thing that he was so good at and that he had worked so hard for. And then to be able to just let it go at the end of that year, which I am proud to say I was able to do. There were some tears, private tears, but there were tears nonetheless. But what ended up happening was, as a result of stepping away from tennis for the remainder of his college experience, my son was able to focus on things that he had never had the opportunity to focus on prior to his junior year in college because he was so focused on working on getting better in tennis. Everything was about that. So it was a very eye-opening kind of reality for me and for him. And it was really good for our relationship, I think, to kind of come to terms with his decision to leave the sport. Um, my hope was always that eventually he would come back to it. But at that point in time, it wasn't even up for discussion. He hung up his rackets and he was out of there and completely done. But what ended up happening as a result of taking this break was that he kind of found some other things that caught his interest, that he realized he had talent for, and could find passion in other things, not just on the tennis court. And I think that was really good for his overall growth and development as a human. To this day, he now is living in New Zealand. He moved to New Zealand as a result of his friendship and close ties with a teammate from his sophomore year of college who is a Kiwi. And he has found a great life for himself there. Yes, it's on the other side of the planet. And yes, it means that we don't get to see him as often as we would like. But he has created an incredible life for himself there and is very successful in his work and in his personal life. And as a result of, I think, me just kind of saying, okay, you're done with tennis. I get it. Not going to talk about it too much. He plays every now and then. He'll get out on the court just for fun to hit with his former college teammate or with his girlfriend or with other friends. And I view that as a huge success. This tennis journey is tough. It's challenging. It's full of ups and downs. There are days where you're just so full of joy watching your child go through this. And then there are days where you're just like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I created? Why are we doing this? Why are we spending all this time and money on this game? And your kid is maybe, I don't know, in need of a break, or just maybe is in a transitional phase, whether they're entering a new phase of physical and emotional development, or they're trying something new on the court and it's maybe taking a little longer to click in. Um, there are all sorts of things that happen along the way. And so I want to just encourage all of you to hang in there. You are doing a great thing. You have this incredible gift in front of you that affords you the opportunity to spend intensive time with your child all through their developmental years, which not a lot of families get to do. And I want you to hold on to that, to value that, and to understand that from where I'm sitting, the goal of being a tennis parent should be, in my opinion, to have a great relationship with your child at the end of this journey. So whether the journey ends at age 13, when a lot of kids walk away from organized sports, whether it ends after high school, whether it ends sometime during college or after college or somewhere down the road, it will come to an end at some point, but your relationship as your child's parent is not going to end. And so the more work you can do for yourself to help yourself find joy in this journey, to stay positive even when you want to just throw things and rant and rave, to help your child find appropriate language, appropriate body language, appropriate reactions and responses to things through modeling that behavior yourself, because either you are really good at it just because you are, or you've put work in to help yourself become really good at it. These are the things that you can do to make this journey more enjoyable, more beneficial to your child and to your family as a whole, and to help understand that this isn't about a financial return on investment. Because let's face it, what's going on with the NCAA right now, all of the changes with scholarships and roster spots and all of these things, the likelihood that your child is going to get a college scholarship that is going to compensate for all of the money that you spend throughout this journey is pretty slim. So I don't want you doing this for the wrong reasons. I want you doing it because you understand that A, your child's developing a skill that they can carry into adulthood and throughout life. B, it's going to help them learn additional skills that are going to serve them so well throughout their lives. C, you're fostering a relationship between you and your child in ways that might not be available if your child hadn't chosen to go down this tennis pathway. And there are myriad other things that I can't think of at the moment, but please stick with it. Please understand that I am here for you through this podcast, through our social media channels, through our one-to-one consults, which are one of my favorite things that I do. I love meeting with families and talking through the issues that are coming up in their journey. And I want this to be positive for you, and I want it to be positive for your child. So if there is anything ever that I can do to help you along the way, I am available via email, lisa@parentingaces.com. I am available via direct message through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I am available through WhatsApp. And I would love to be part of your family's journey, whether it's just via this podcast and we never directly interact, but more preferably to have that personal interaction. I don't get to as many tournaments as I used to. I try to get to a few every year so that I can meet you guys out on the courts. And I love doing that. And I love chatting with you and chatting with your kids and chatting with the coaches out there and learning about what's actually happening on the ground. But I am, as I said, always available to you in other ways. And I hope you will reach out to me. That's how I know that I'm continuing to provide information that is useful to you as you go through this whole process. So, season 15, here we are. We've got some incredible guests coming up. We've got some incredible topics coming up, but there's still loads of space to add additional stuff to our season. So, again, I ask you to please reach out to me with any topics or guests that you would like to see on the podcast. And I also want to encourage you to consume this podcast, yes, on your favorite podcast app, if that's the most convenient way. But for a lot of our episodes, it's really valuable to consume the video version, which you can find on our website or you can find on our YouTube channel, and really put faces to the voices that you're hearing on the other end. And a lot of times our guests will do visual, demos of things that they're talking about. So just know that I will usually mention in the intro to the episode if I feel like it's something that you should really watch as opposed to just listen to. But we try to make this as easy as possible for you to consume. And again, I'm here. Please reach out to me. I am looking forward to another incredible season of the Parenting Aces podcast, another incredible year of meeting all of you, seeing your kids play tennis, and learning even more about this journey because let's face it, things are constantly in flux. I'm continuing to learn just as you're continuing to learn. And it's a journey. We're in it together. And the more you learn, the more I learn, the better the experience is going to be for all of us. So have a great year. Enjoy season 15. Please reach out. If you want our cute little merch, you can get that on our website as well. And I look forward to seeing you all out on the tennis courts.